I see.
Boa noite para todos. Muito obrigado.
Boa noite a todos.
Hoje,
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening. This live is in English.
Good evening.
So good to be here. This is going to be a segue of our previous live.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the liberty to wait a little bit so others can join. Let me just do this now and advise people that we are here. We are ready to go. We are rock and roll.
Just to remember everybody in the live, we are not attorneys. We are represented
We're
by
simply a group of friends that work in the same law firm, and we want to chat about immigration. How about that?
Exactly.
Does that work? That good enough for everybody? I think it is, right?
Yeah.
So,
and for the Brazilian guys that speak English, you're also welcome. Please send the link to your friends. Everyone is welcome to join the live.
all right. Okay. So let's see here. Let's all right, I'm gonna put this on right here. I'm gonna so there you go. All right. So
We are live.
we're live. Good evening. So I'm going to start by talking about the importance, undoubtedly, the importance of hiring a law firm that really knows what they are doing. Okay.
Very good point.
The amount of clients that we see on a daily basis that have previously retained law firms that are not well versed on that particular type of immigration benefit that client was seeking is staggering. It's really, 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 really huge. The main issue that I find is that in reality, a lot of people think that just because there is an immigration law firm that they're going to be able to do everything, right? So this is much like a when you choose a doctor or when you choose, a specialist on the health field, you need to be able to choose wisely. There are a number of aspects about immigration law that is very specific. So, like, there is the doctor, there's a general clinician, a general practitioner, then there's the plastic surgeon, and then there's, even within the plastic surgery field of medicine, there is, those are very specialists on, whether it is breast augmentation, rhinoplasty, and so on. The same thing applies for immigration. So a lot of people spend a lot of money on people that have no idea what they are doing. You're actually retaining them, and they are just going on a book and researching, and they are making you a guinea pig for that particular process. So if you or anybody have had problems with your case on another law firm, make sure you consult other law firms that have been established for a longer period of time, that has a track of success within your community, within your immigrant community, and that they have success in a multitude of types of cases. That way you are sure to get the best representation possible. Okay, so that's important. That's really, really important that you're able to do that. I'm just going to post this on my Telegram. There you go. It is now live for all the folks in my Telegram group. For those of you who do not subscribe to the HAYMAN-WOODWARD Telegram group, just go look for us at HAYMAN-WOODWARD, and you'll be able to find on Telegram. All right, let's start with a little bit of as well with some aspects that are really interesting about immigration. We have here three of my colleagues: Luiz Francar, who is in charge of business development; our senior vice president for business development, Everton Andrade, and Tassia Gomide. Three of them, different types of situation, different type of immigration history. My immigration history, my immigrant story is different from them as well. So on this call alone, on this particular live stream alone, you have three different types of immigrants that came with three different types of visas. I first came in on an F1 visa, then I became an H1B, then I filed for my naturalization through the MAVNI, which is a program that doesn't exist anymore. Then, Everton got his EB2 national interest waiver. Then Tassia got her green card through her husband, who is an EB2 national interest waiver. Luiz got in through his wife and through his wife's visa. And so, look, there's so many different stories, and your story as well can be very different. So why don't we start with that, and then we start talking about the different types of visas. So I'll give Everton the opportunity to talk about what he has experienced as an immigrant, the different types of visas that exist out of the 187 types that exist on the immigration myriad.
What I was going to say. First of all, we have 187 different types of visa. So probably there is a visa that fits what you're looking for. That's the way you have to consult with one of our experts to understand what is your way to get the correct visa to be in the US legally. That's the most important thing. I see a lot of people saying, wow, but I had my tourist visa denied. Probably because you were looking for something that was not what you were really planning to do. Understand that an immigration officer is smart, really well trained. He knows what you want to do, what is your target, what you are planning to do. So requesting the correct type of visa is the first thing that you have to understand. Yeah. And to have this kind of consultancy, you need to talk to an expert. Call us, schedule a meeting, talk to us, and maybe don't listen to everyone. Stop listening or watching YouTubers, influencers, people that are giving you the wrong information. Every single person has a different story. Every single person has a different background. And maybe there is another way that is not what people are now taking as a trend. Oh, you are an EB2, you are something. No, call us, because maybe you're going to have the right path to come to the US maybe in 2-3 months, and you don't even know, legally, being able to work. So what is the one that is the most popular today that everyone is talking about and looking for is the EB2NIW. That is the employment-based second preference national interest waiver. So let me try to explain a little bit, and Leo is going to correct me and add whatever he wants. Please, Lula, be welcome to comment anything.
Sure.
Let's say like this: you have a bachelor degree, and 5 years post experience after your graduation, you are an EB2. You are an EB2. This is not questionable. You are an EB2.
You actually are a person that falls into a second preference of employment.
The criteria is to be an EB2. Right. Another point, even if you don't have a bachelor degree, but you have experience, you have been working with something for example, 10 years. Very common in IT, for example. A lot of people, they didn't get a graduation, they don't have a diploma, but they had a lot of certifications. They have certifications. I don't know. They can build a website. They know how to program. They know things that I don't know. I'm not an IT guy. But for example, you have a Microsoft certification. You have been working with this for more than 10 years. You are part of an association. You have experience. It's not because you don't have a bachelor degree that you are not welcome in the US. There are positions open for well-educated and well-prepared people to join the country and perform your work in the US. This is the first part. You need to fit one of these two criteria: advanced degree or exceptional ability. If you fit those criteria, one of those, we will try to prove that you are a person of national interest. And then we have 3 strong, strict criteria that are mandatory to proceed with a petition to try to get you an approval to get a green card. First of all, you need to show that for your endeavor, what you are planning to do, what is your intention to do in the US, you have both substantial merit and the immigration is going to consider that it is a national importance. Second, you need to show that you are well prepared to advance in what you are proposing, what is your intention, what is your endeavor. The third one is a kind of conclusion from the first and the second, is that the USCIS is going to consider that in a balance, you are going to be beneficial to the country, and then they are going to waive
the requirements to
have a labor certification or a job offer, a sponsorship. So it's you because you have the profile. The country probably needs you because you are a good professional. The country will give you a waiver so you don't need to have a sponsor. So the only way to do that is through an excellent attorney, through HAYMAN-WOODWARD, because we like to say that what approves a green card is a strategy that we show in our petition, and the intelligence that we show. And Leo likes to say that we are a kind of writers. We are storytellers. We need to show the right way. We need to give a movie to the officer. Then he's going to understand what you guys can do. What are the demands in the US? If your profession is demanding additional professionals in the US, how is the market? If somewhere in the country we have open positions, for example, for more than 6 months, a year, and you have the profile to maybe to fit on this position. So a lot of things to be done: academic evaluation, expert opinion letter, business plan or professional plan. So it's we gather a lot of evidence. So you guys are going to send us around 100 pages of evidence. So birth certificate, marriage certificate, diplomas, whatever you guys have. And this is going to become a book. This is going to become. And
it's important to mention that, the evidence, when you're actually building your case together with the law firm, right? So it is important to know that the initial strategy of your case may be tweaked, and changed through the course of building your case, because it will be beneficial for you to be able to have a better angle through this or that strategy. So a lot of people get confused. Well, I already sent you that, or I thought the strategy of the case was X, and you're going towards Y, and why is that? And it happens a lot of times. So the point I'm trying to make is be patient, make sure that you communicate well with the law firm that you decide to hire, and make sure that you comply with everything they're requesting. Because let me tell you, the worst thing that can happen to you is the breakdown of communication between you and the attorney or the law firm that is representing you. You need to have direct contact to the attorney. I'm getting reports of many attorneys in New York and California and Miami, Florida, in Orlando, of these attorneys simply just meeting the client once when they sign up and then never meeting them again. That's bad. That's not only rude, it is not permissible under the ethics rules of the bar. Okay, so it is not a good thing at all. Not a good thing at all. So you need to have contact with your attorney. You need to make sure you work out every little detail and little kinks of your case. For example, the question that was posed by Wilkerson here, he is under a J1 visa, and he is subject to the 212E rule that requires him to, once he finishes up his J1 program, he's required to go back to his home country and spend 2 years there before he can even come back on any type of employment visa, whether if it is a O1, or even an EB2 or an EB1 or EB3. It doesn't matter which employment visa. He can only come back to the U.S. as a tourist and visit, and then he cannot come and work in the United States for a period of 2 years, unless there is a waiver of that two-year foreign residency requirement that is granted to him. And that's something that people don't have a working relationship with an attorney. They won't be able to get it. They won't be able to file it. And that all that hard work is going to go to, down the drain. So that's important. So there are some options for people under J1. They can apply for a waiver. There are some waivers that are not very difficult to get, but they're, depending on the type of program you are in, you may have a very difficult task in your hands to be able to obtain that waiver. So this is one of the examples that you need to have a knowledgeable and very well versed law firm on your side to be able to work on this. So
just one question, Leo. Be backing really quick in the EB2. Almost everybody doesn't know that they can come to the United States with the green card already in the passport.
Yeah.
They think they can only over here in the United States. Can you explain a little bit this for our audience?
Yes, absolutely. So there is a misconception about, the only way you can get a green card is if you are in the U.S., and that's not true. You can get an immigrant visa stamped in your passport. If you apply for that type of visa, you get granted, and you're going to do what's called a consular processing and do your interview in a consulate of the United States abroad. And once you do that, then once you get approved on that during that interview, then they're going to put a visa in your passport, and you're going to come as a arriving alien in the United States, or arriving foreign national, if you will, in the United States. And once you arrive here, a few weeks later, your green card is going to be produced, and they're going to send it to you in the mail because you arrived as a landed immigrant. So that's how it works. So these are the things that that people do. I don't understand why people would have this misconception, but it's very common. Very common to think that the only way you can get a green card is if you are in the U.S. And there's also a lot of people that still believe that the only way to get a green card is through marriage through a U.S. citizen or by investing millions of dollars. No, that is not the case at all. There are several other avenues available for a lot of people.
187.
Well, 187 types of visas, not
Yeah.
necessarily 187 types of green cards, but there are
Yeah,
187 types of visas on the two main categories, which is, immigrant and non-immigrant visas. So, and there's a whole bunch of non-immigrant visas, and there's about 9 main categories of immigrant visas with several subcategories of those. So, yeah. I see a LinkedIn user that has been waiting for his green card for ZB2 case for 3 years with us. Why is that? So, yeah, it happens. There are some cases you will find that you will get your green card pretty fast. I mean, we had a case of a guy who is, believe it or not, and this, I kid you not, this guy was a churrasquero. He is a guy who does he's a barbecue man. And he got his EB2 approved within 4 months and his I-485 approved within 2 months. So I think for under 9 months, he got his green card in his hands. We have cases like this particular person that is making a comment there that has been waiting for 3 years. It is not the fault of the law firm. It is just the matter of you got dealt a bad hand of being designated to a officer who put you on the back queue. Some people need to understand that once a case gets into USCIS, it gets distributed throughout the entire organization, right? So an officer may be assigned to a case, and if that officer has 5,000 cases in front of yours, yours is going to be seen sometime in the next 2 years. Whereas, perhaps an officer with a lesser load or a new officer will be able to see your case much faster, and they're going to be able to adjudicate that case pretty quickly. So that happens, and there's absolutely nothing you can do to control where and when your case is going to be seen, unless you file for what's called a premium processing service, which will cost you a hefty $2,500. And that money is going to be well spent only if you really have the necessity to know how fast, how your case is going to be approved. So for you who has been waiting for 3 years, my suggestion is take the bullet, bite the bullet, and cough up to $2,500 and pay for the premium process for the I-140.
And that premium process was approved this year, right, Leo?
Yeah, the premium processing is now available to all EB1Cs and EB2 national interest waivers. The difference is that, regular premium processing you get a response within 15 days. It doesn't mean it's going to get approved within 15 days. It's just that they're going to respond to you within 15 days. But that is not the case for the premium processing for EB1Cs, which is executive or managers that are transferred in multinational companies, or EB2 national interest waivers. In that case, it's going to be 45 calendar days before they can answer to you. And that doesn't mean the case is going to get approved. It just means they're going to see to the case. They're going to maybe request issue an RFE, which is a request for evidence, and they're going to request more evidence in your case. But once they receive the response to that, that's going to be seen as well within 45 days. So that's what you're paying for. It's the speed to be seen, to have your case being adjudicated, not a guarantee of approval.
That's fine. So One good thing, we're gonna be doing a lot of road trips this year. We're
Yes.
gonna be. We just finished the Casa HW in Orlando. Was a
Success.
tremendous
There
success.
was a lot of people there. I mean, we finalized the count. During the course of the 4 days, there were over 300 people in the house.
Yeah.
So coming in and out. So it's 300, over 300 people. For me was absolutely astonishing. I mean, we started this very unassuming. This is the third edition that we do, and we started this, a very,
was unbelievable.
very. I mean, at the very first one, we only seen 20, 30 people. Now, for us to be seeing 300 people plus, it's just astonishing.
And people coming from far
Yeah.
away.
Yeah. So I have somebody here who's asking how to make an appointment to discuss. You can make an appointment by sending an email to Tassia. The email's here on the chat.
Yes.
And you can make an appointment with her, and she'll be glad to take your appointment in. Everton, you wanted to make a comment, I believe.
I was going to make. I'm writing down your link tree. Actually, I'm going to give them your Instagram account. You can access Leo's link tree, and then there you can choose some ways to communicate with us. So maybe you can already schedule an interview by filling out a form. You can access a link to talk with us through WhatsApp. So I'm just writing down right here so they can talk to us.
Great.
So, next events, Texas, in the end of the month, 16 to 22, we're gonna be there. Austin, Houston, and Dallas. Through our website, you can see all the information and subscribe to methods over there.
Don't forget, very important, follow us on our social medias, because we're going to be announcing those road trips. And so follow us on Instagram, on LinkedIn, as well as Facebook and Twitter. They're all the same handle, at HAYMAN-WOODWARD. So we're going to be able to provide you with the best information possible, and you're going to be able to have in-person consultations during the time that we're going to be visiting it. You're going to be talking to an attorney at a time, and the attorney will be able to give you legal advice on your case. So that's going to be a good thing. Tassia, you had a comment you wanted to make?
If somebody needs to make an appointment, send me an email. I will schedule as soon as possible, and we will give all the information to this person.
Awesome.
Important, we don't charge for consultation.
Yes.
You guys, it's only a matter of sending us the email. We don't believe that charging to give you guys information about immigration is something fair. So you can talk to us. It's 100% free. And then if you want to proceed, then we are going to explain to you how it's going to be done. But the consultation is for free.
Yeah, absolutely. That's right. So we have also, I wanted to talk about a very specific type of event that we like to do on a yearly basis. It's this types of webinars, but we do it with more people involved, where we gather with other experts and other attorneys from other law firms, where we have a very nice heated discussion about the ins and outs of immigration. And we're going to be announcing this very soon. We have some special guests. We're going to be talking about some of the changes on immigration that has happened in not only in the U.S. but also in other places of interest around the world. Don't forget that HAYMAN-WOODWARD is not the only. It does not only do immigration to the United States. It does immigration to over 100 other countries around the world. So we're growing. So we're happy to provide advice to you on how to, many Americans will watch us today. They want to find out the way to have a little foot, on the door in Europe. They want to have a European passport. They want to be able to perhaps live and work remotely in Portugal, and pay less tax or have a less cost of living by living in Europe, and work with that mighty dollar, in Europe, and that's perfectly okay. And we are able to assist you with that. We have an office in Lisbon, we have an office in Singapore, in Dubai, and in China, in Shanghai and Hong Kong. We're able to assist you with that as well. So, Luiz, bring it on.
Let's go. Let's talk a little bit about iVisas and how it's easy from some podcasters, journalists to come to the United States. It's not that
Podcasters as well, that's right. Podcasters, bloggers, yeah.
Just
Production companies of documentaries, yeah.
Yeah. So need to be journalists, have at least some experience, some relevant media material, and show that you come to the United States to continue progressive working in what you do best, publish material. As soon as you have an employer in your home country who wants to send you to the United States to be a reporter or video maker or whatever is necessary to represent that country, sending news to your home country, that is valid. You need to have at least association in your field, journalist association, broadcaster, whatever.
A professional license, like a professional license.
Yes. And that visa is very, very interesting because you can keep yourself in status in the United States for 4 years, renewed for 4 years more, and still renewing until you have somebody hiring you from your home country. Okay. Your family can come with you. The only thing is, when your child becomes 21 years old, they lost the capability to have that visa. But I believe if you have one of these merits to come with iVisa, pretty soon you're going to prepare or EB1 or an EB2 visa. EB1, very important. If you are a reporter with a lot of media materials, with prizes, awards, you are able to get, if you qualify in one of 3 criteria of EB1A, you are able to get that kind of green card.
It's basically, you need to qualify, out of the 3 criteria you mentioned, you need to qualify as well as be recognized as having, being a person who's been excel in your field of expertise. So it's called sustained national or international acclaim. Usually people say, well, I do qualify because I meet the criteria, or as officers would say, meeting you absolutely meet the plain language of the criteria, but not necessarily you have met the preponderance of evidence that will qualify you for that criteria. So although you would meet the plain language of the criteria, that doesn't mean that the officer will be able to approve that type of eligibility for you. So yeah, you need to be able to prove that you have national or international acclaim, or both, in that case.
Leo, now I would like, I'm sorry, Everton, you want to speak something?
No, I was going to say that, why don't we talk a little bit about out of status? That is something that
we are connected. We are connected.
I know, we know each other. So I think it's a subject that everyone wants to talk about. They need to understand, because usually I would say 99% of the lawyers, 99.99999, they say that there is no solution and
Impossible.
and
I think it's a lot to do. I think it's a lot to do with the fact that my grandfather used to say that ignorance is bliss. So a lot of people are ignorant of the law, although they are lawyers, right? So I think it has a lot to do with the fact that people lack the fortitude or even the guts to face what is required in order for you to defend your client to the best of your ability. And a lot of people, especially some immigration lawyers, have the attitude of, I'm not here to defend anyone. I'm just basically a pencil pusher here, a paper shuffler, and I don't want to get involved in anything that might risk my license or anything like that. And I don't see the reason why people would think that, because you're not risking your license if you're trying to defend your client. And, there are several aspects about immigration law that escapes those who are actually, really in tune with, really trying to get legal status. And they want to talk with somebody that really understands this. And being out of status carries a significant amount of I would say stigma that accompanies it, that people say, well, people always told me it's impossible to get lawful status again. I came, I overstayed, and now what am I going to do, and so on. And basically you have a way. There's cancellation of removal. There are waivers of unlawful presence if some of you qualify. There's also prosecutorial discretion. And I don't care what people say about PDs, about prosecutorial discretion. There's a wide variety of prosecutorial discretion when it comes to USCIS, when it comes to ICE, when it comes to the immigration judge. And there's so much that can be done. So I always tell people, if you do not have a criminal record, if you're not in a final deportation proceeding, if you're not been ordered removed to the US, there is still a chance. There is always a chance that you will be able to get some sort of relief. Okay? We have cases of people who have been out of status. They got an RFE on their I-45. They applied for adjustment while they were out of status. Although technically speaking, you're not supposed to do that, but they did. They came to us, they got an RFE, and here we go. And all the officer was asking on the RFE is, give me a timeline of what you've done since you got in the US until now. And we provided that, and that was the answer of the RFE. And that client, who's been 5 years out of status, got his green card. Now, does that tell you what? That tells you that an immigration officer has a great deal of latitude and power and discretion to be able to approve a case. And while some people say, well, this case probably was approved as a mistake, a fluke. So what do you tell about the almost 100 clients we've done this process to since then, and they all got their green cards? What are you saying? Are there 100 clients a fluke? No, that's a trend. And they were saying that to me when that was a fluke, that was all BS back in 2015 when I retired from the service, when I came over and I started, talking about there's a chance people can get a green card through an EB-2. Nah, this guy is a fraud. This is all BS. There's no way around this. This is only for astronauts. This is only for top-notch scientists, and that's not the case at all. We see people from all walks of life getting their green cards approved. Case in point, the guy who was the butcher and did, the churrasco, he was the barbecue guy. So, and he got his green card. So, I mean, listen, the sky is the limit. And if you don't try, you will never get it. That's basically what it is. If you're always going to be on the it's impossible zone, you will never going to make it possible. You have to get up your butt, go there, find a lawyer who's going to defend you, find a lawyer who's going to fight for you, and you're going to get your case seen. You're going to get your case at some point. If you're really good at it, you're going to get your case approved. As long as you don't lie, as long as there's no fraud, as long as there's no misrepresentation, as long as there's no fraudulent documents, if you do everything by the book and if you fall within that criteria, you're going to get your green card.
I agree.
And one thing, you, once the person like picks the lawyer, just believe in this lawyer. Don't stop listening everybody else.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm all for people trying to get a second opinion, but once you lock into somebody and you pay the fees, you pretty much
stop listening to everybody else. Yeah,
shut it down and go for it. If it goes wrong, and if you feel that law firm has done you wrong, then and only then you go look for a second opinion, not during the course of it, because you're gonna get chatter, you're gonna get misinformation, you're gonna get all this stuff that's gonna confuse you. You're gonna be completely exacerbated, completely inundated with information that is really not a good way to go, and is going to interfere with a good course of your case. And I believe that it is important that you just stay put and stay your course and believe in the people that you hire. It doesn't matter if it is HAYMAN-WOODWARD or somebody else. Just you pay the fees, you believe in that person. Bet on your horse. Don't bet on your horse and keep looking at somebody else's horse. Keep your eyes fixed on your horse. You know that horse needs your cheering and needs your support. So bet on your horse. So we have about 10 more minutes to finish. I want to talk about.
Let's talk a little bit about what is happening in the U.S. right now. I think everyone knows that the U.S. is booming. Everybody's talking about
where is this recession? People keep
depression market, but the recession happening.
I want to see this recession people keep talking about. I have these freaking banks telling me, "Oh, you're coming for a recession." I don't think JP Morgan is really serious about this crap because honestly, I mean, they are just, I see unemployment rates are lower than ever been.
Yeah.
I see the dollar stronger. What is this crap the banks are trying to tell me? I mean, what are they trying to sell here? I don't know. But all I see is this. America's welcoming more immigrants than before. I see unemployment rates at a lowest rates I've ever seen. And I've seen new jobs, over 100,000 jobs added in the past year or so that is out there, and they're still
open, right? It's still open.
And that's why they're saying let the immigrants fill it in, because apparently we don't have people enough to qualified to fulfill these positions.
I think it's important to mention the crisis that we had in 2008. That was a lack of graduations in the U.S. for some years. So
yeah, of course. I mean, so back in 2008, when we had the subprime scandal and the whole debacle of the economy going boost up, so a lot of people had to use their kids' college fund in order for them to be able to afford having a roof over their head. They didn't have money, so they couldn't send the kids to school. They couldn't send kids to college. So during the course of the last 10 years, so from 2008 to 2018, we're now 23. It was still suffering with the effects of the lack of people who are in fact well versed or qualified on any specific subject, because they lack the college degree that is required for that particular type of field. So we have a lot of Gen Zs who are entrepreneurs, but you still need people to run the company. I mean, that's great. They don't have a college degree, but they want to be Mark Zuckerberg, right? They all want to be able to be the .com guy, back in the era. But that's not going to happen, because you still need programmers. You need people with a lot of smarts. You still need engineers. You need people that know accounting, that know law, that know that knows economy, that knows everything about administration of a company. And those positions are not going to go away. And you need qualified people to fulfill those positions. And that's exactly the reason why there's a shortage of these types of professionals in the U.S. right now. So you need to fulfill those positions. That's why teachers, exactly. Thank you, Wilkerson. All of it, nurses, physical therapists. You got pilots. We have the biggest pilot shortage in the airline industry in history. In the history of the world, in the history of the airline industry, we have the biggest pilot shortage ever. We have the largest health professional shortage in the U.S. in history. Probably since the first World War. So it's amazing.
Not only pilots, right, Leo? Cabin crew, mechanics,
all of
everybody
it, all
in
that
the
is
aviation field.
to the field of aviation. People are just they're missing out. So we have a big problem. We even have a lack of teachers, as Wilkerson is mentioning here. We have a lack of qualified teachers for pre-K to 12. We have a lack of qualified teachers. We have a lack of qualified professors for universities. We have all of it. And guess what happens?
Leo, STEM professionals, science, technology.
Science, technology, engineering, math. Exactly. So there's a multitude of avenues for people to come to the U.S. and bring their skills and knowledge to teach in the U.S. And guess what happens? Once you teach also people who are foreign nationals at American universities, guess what happens? You become more qualified and more likely to get approved for a green card to stay in the U.S. and so the U.S. can retain that knowledge that you learn in U.S. soil, on U.S. soil, and then you'll be able to remain here, and that's very important. So,
just an example. Today in the morning, the news said I live in the biggest county in the United States. They have 4,000 open spots for teachers. They cannot fulfill. So
can you imagine that, having 4,000? It's
in one county, just in the county. Imagine in the state, in the whole United States. So we are talking about a lot of professionals. We have a lack of opportunities that is missing over here, and we can bring a lot of people from other countries just to fulfill that position.
I have a question from somebody here. Probably, I don't want to make assumptions, but somebody who's probably looking to be an EB1 because it comes from a country that has a
gap.
Basically, the visa bulletin has regressed on his particular type of case because, in this case, a secondary school teacher, math teacher, looking for an EB1, you would need to qualify as somebody with extreme knowledge and accolades to be considered within the first preference. However, a secondary teacher, math teacher on the second preference will be able to get approved much easier than somebody with a first preference on an extraordinary ability. It would be easier to come in as an exceptional ability or advanced degree as a you know as a teacher on a shortage argument than go through the first preference. However, a lot of Chinese nationals, Indian nationals are unable to, are unwilling to file for these types of petitions because they are going to have a hard time waiting for the, sometimes 10-year waiting period for them to actually have their priority date come to term. So that's usually the problem.
Leo,
So I'll leave the last 5 minutes with Tassia, Luis, and Everton.
I will say you have final considerations, so we can move on.
So
someone asked about our fees. Please get in contact. Again, the consultation is free. We need to understand what is your visa, because the range that we charge for the fees are completely different. Depends on the visa, depends on your profile, depends
exactly.
If we need to have for example, a business plan, if we do not. So different kinds of visa, different prices. But I would say that until next Friday, if you call us, we are having a very special price table for this week. So I would say that we are almost in 50% discount right now. So you have a chance to talk to us. Call us, send a message.
Email me. I will schedule a video conference as soon as possible, and we will give you all the information you need.
Yes, but it's almost impossible to give you a fee because the range is wide, really wide.
35 to 100, so could be a lot.
It depends.
Yeah. So guys,
Right.
Once again, thank you very much for being in this live. We're gonna have a pretty soon event in Texas in the end of this month, 16 to 22. In May, we're gonna be in Boston. If you are in Boston, please put your heads up.
Let us know. We'll love to hear
Follow
from you.
us.
We'll love to meet you
Yes.
there. Yeah.
Follow us on social media. You can be updated all the time with informations in our social media. And thank you for being here, to enjoying us. One of you guys are in other countries, in different time zones. Thank you for that. Everton and Tassia, please.
No, thank you all. These kind of lives are going to happen. I think we are trying to do it at least every 2 weeks. Let's see if we can be always here to give you guys information, to talk about immigration. Today we talked a little bit about DB2, a little bit about iVisa, but the intention is to give you information about every single chance you have, different kinds of visa,
Every single aspect about immigration, exactly. And then we're going to invite you.
So not only the US, but maybe Europe, maybe Asia, Middle East. So this is one of the first, but we're going to bring you guys more information. Leo, thank you so much for being here.
Pleasure. Pleasure.
Thank you, Leo. Hope you feel better soon. You have a better face now.
Even with COVID, I gotta do this.
Yeah. No, you're gonna be
right.
good very, very soon. Thank you, everybody. If everybody needs any help to schedule consultation, send me an email. It'll be a pleasure to help everybody.
Thank you all.
Thank you, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
See you pretty soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.